Hi, it's P Funk of the Exact Marketing Advice podcast. I'm talking to Patrik Cannole. He's with Oozle Media. And Patrik, tell me where you're based out of and as much as you'd like to tell us about Oozle Media.
Sure. So we're based out of Utah, kind of in the suburbs of Salt Lake. It's called South Jordan, if you're familiar with the area. And Oozle Media, we are a digital marketing agency that we kind of are like a little bit of a do-it-all type of agency, where we build websites, we do SEO, we do pay-per-click ads, social media ads, content writing, have a couple of specializations. One in particular is beauty schools. There's a lot more of them out there than you'd think, and we tend to focus on them, and by extension, post-secondary education in particular.
Very interesting. I had no idea there were a lot of beauty schools out there, but makes sense. Something on your website that I thought was very interesting. You said, we're a trusted marketing partner rather than an outsourced lead machine. Ask us about the Oozle Media method.
Yeah. There are a lot of agencies out there that are just kind of like, you come in, you pay them lots of money, and you hope things work. And we have conscientiously over the last, 10, 12, 15 years, tried to be a little bit different in the way that we approach things. We differentiate ourselves by trying to find the way that works for you as a client by pushing, by making a collaborative effort. Some of our clients are very collaborative. Some of them are less collaborative, and I wish more of them would be collaborative with us. And I'm sure everybody who's in the agency world would argue that that's the best case scenario, right? So we're a little picky sometimes about clients that come in. But the other thing that we do is go off of what a pixel fire might tell you from within whatever platform you're working with. We firmly believe that every single pixel fire out there is fired for a reason, but that we don't trust it because Google wants to claim their share, Facebook wants to claim their share, and everybody wants to claim a piece of the pie, and they sometimes overclaim things. And so when we report to our clients, we actually get the lead list directly from either the website or the CRM or wherever else we can get it, and we only report on the number of actual names and emails that are scrubbed for duplicates to then push that out to our clients, so that we're really talking about true CPAs. We're talking about true CPLs, right? Rather than just going off of what the pixel fire is. 9 times out of 10, it's like within a few degrees separation, right? So we feel pretty good about how we do that. But there are conversations about like how pixel fire might go off for whatever XYZ reason. And so that's kind of like one of the big things that we try to do, is we try to give a true reporting of how that is, and like make that like an actual, like, this is a lead. This is somebody that I can certifiably say that this is somebody that you could contact. It's a marketing qualified lead for sure,
Right. Wow. That is really interesting. And it leads me to an immediate follow-up question there is, how do you establish that trust with the clients to share that proprietary information? Not everybody is willing to do that. Actually, I think a very small percentage is.
Mm-hmm.
How do you accomplish that?
Yeah. And it starts right from the sale. Right. And I have, give credit to our sales guys that it's not an easy conversation sometimes to, build that trust right away of doing that. We have to fight it is really important. And we think that because we are very upfront about why we do it the way that we do it, that intrigues people. And that immediately establishes a baseline of trust for getting that information to them. Right. We also have to ensure then we have security protocols in place to make sure that stuff doesn't get out, and we have to, that we're trying to stay compliant. One of the big things in the beauty school space in particular, and post-secondary education just generally, is there's a lot of compliance things, right? Like you can only say so much, the department regulations and whatever else, right? So like we're very familiar with a lot of that stuff, and that kind of helps establish a lot of that trust. And then the other thing I think that really, really helps is making a name for yourself as an agency in a dedicated vertical of some sort. Because you can say, we have industry experience. We've worked with across the nation people who are in your same situation. I speak your language, right? I know your lead to enrollment is really important, right? And if I were to say that to anybody else, they're like, what the heck is lead to enrollment? What does that even mean, right? But like to a beauty school client, that's everything, right? Because enrollments are how they actually make money. It's not leads. They don't care, right? They can get hundreds of leads. If they're crap leads, who cares, right? So I can talk definitively to that. I have an industry standard that I can compare you to of how many, based off of your size of school or whatever else, I can say roughly you should be about here. If you're not here, let's have a talk about it. Like that's how you really gain that transparency and trust with a client, is you talk their language and you speak to them directly.
Well, that's tremendous information and a very candid response, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. When you look back at 2024, what was the channel or strategy that you feel was most successful for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. So maybe I'll give you a little bit of background on me before I answer this question. I quote unquote grew up in marketing and SEO. Okay, so I live and breathe kind of the organic side of things. That's where I live. And I will say the thing that gives results, and because our team is awesome, is the paid ads team, the Google Ads team. They are the ones who really kind of make the engine grow for a lot of these clients. And the reason for that is there is demand that we can capitalize on very easily for beauty schools. You'd be shocked by the number of searches that there are out there every single month for people who want to attend beauty school. And we are able to capitalize on the existing demand that's there with our paid ad channels and the way that we target, the way that we use, lists, the way that we, build our audiences and build everything there. We're extremely good at capturing those audiences. So I'd say our paid ads team is one of the best at it. And there's a reason why we've made a name for ourselves in that industry specifically. Then so we can do that. And that's kind of like where our bread and butter is for sure.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then extending on that, what are you focusing on this year?
This year, with the beauty school space in particular, there's always a lot of things, but we want to try to simplify our offerings and make them, we're trying to make it so that there's, with all the Google updates, and particularly on the organic side of things, and again, I'm going to be biased towards that, so if you asked one of my colleagues, they'd probably have a little bit different answer for that, because we have different directors who are in charge of different channels to kind of help push that growth. So I'm going to give you the SEO answer here, because that's where I'm most familiar. But the biggest thing there is with all the changes that Google updates have made, and like what we've learned from the leaks that happened last year from Google, there's a huge emphasis on just doing what you can to get whatever traffic to the site that you can that's qualified traffic. And so some of the things that we're doing is we're actually trying to broaden some of the things that we talk about to bring in traffic and integrate those the things that we write about more with social media, and push on even having a little bit of social spend, because let's face it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere is pay to play these days. You kind of have to do it. And so even if you're creating excellent content, you've got to put a little bit of money. And so the focus is integrating our social media with our content, even to a greater extent, and encouraging our clients to spend a little bit, even just a little bit on those spaces to get traffic to the site to help increase your organic presence overall.
Again, great information, great answer. I really appreciate that, Patrik. Along those lines, so then are you seeing any emerging trends within that pattern?
Early results, we're so like SEO is so slow with stuff that is hard to like necessarily say, but early results are good, right? Where we see a lot of that coming in. The hard part is when you try to do like a full funnel marketing strategy, you have to start, when you start at the top of the funnel, you don't see the immediate results at the bottom, right? You don't catch them quite there yet. And so what we can see is we increase traffic, but then the client's like, but I don't have more leads. Well, like, yeah, it takes a little bit of time to build that out and pull that through. So that's kind of like the pushback that we have to kind of talk through and help people understand.
And what is the time frame on that top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel that you're seeing?
Yeah, and this is a good question, because it can vary a lot, right? Like some people are ready to buy, ready to go, and that's where the paid ads comes in really handy, right? They can do that. Some people take a while to warm up, or they're 17 or 16 and haven't quite graduated yet, but they know that's what they want to do. So it can vary quite a bit. Well, I would say on average, for most schools, the timeline for a student from like first becoming aware of you as a brand to actually enrolling, it can be 6 to 9 months of a journey to do that, right? They have to talk to their parents. They got to figure out which school is going to be best for them. They're going to tour several different schools. They're going to, do their due diligence, because this is a big investment of their life, right? Like this is not like, you're buying something off of Amazon. Like I got a gift card the other day and it's like, you know what? I'm going to go buy myself a new game. Hooray. I've been wanting to do that, right? Like it's not that type of decision. This is a big involved decision that takes years of your life and sets your career path. So they take a while to make those decisions. Our argument is, and what we've seen be successful, is if you are creating content that helps lead them down that journey the whole way, you've been the helpful person. Not only you're helping Google by answering their questions, you're helping that person be the established answer to what they're trying to figure out.
Excellent. Excellent. Shifting gears a little bit, how do you continue to aid the agency's growth? How do you obtain new clients? How do you differentiate yourself? We touched on that a little bit. Or is there a specific approach that works best in Utah that may not work everywhere in the U.S.?
Yeah. So we have a lot of our mix of our clients are Utah based. And so it's really nice to be able to meet with them in person, actually. And I think in this post-COVID world, the ability to like Zoom, like before COVID, when I was on an account management track, I would use a phone call. Like I would never see the face of somebody. Now we have Zoom and we often see faces of people. And I think we're also evolving to the point of like being able to be in person a little bit more. Like for Utah specifically, I think that's really important for our growth as a company from the agency. We last a couple of years ago, actually, we got bought out by a parent company. And so that's helping fuel some of our growth and what we're doing, right? One thing that we do is going to be our 5-year anniversary this year of what we call the Beauty School Summit. It's an online webinar day where we do a lot of conference type stuff, 20-minute power-packed TED Talk sessions. Increasing our efforts on that is it's our biggest kind of like sales moment of the year, yes, but also we're not salesy during our conference. It's the post-conference that you get a little bit more of like the, hey, were you interested? Does this make sense? But like every single speaker we have, we're trying to get excellent speakers, bring them in, and push that out. A lot of our sales end up coming from that. But like, oh, I heard you on the beauty summit, or hey, I've been attending the summit a little bit, and I know that this is important. So increasing some of our touches there, I think, is going to be more helpful to our growth plan.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, follow-up question: how do you balance scaling up and continuing to deliver quality results for all of the clients in your portfolio?
That's always the question, right? Like that's the meat and potatoes of a digital agency.
Not about it.
We have some vetted outsourced partners that we work with that are flexible for us. I don't know how agencies can survive with US-based only stuff. If I'm being totally honest, it's going to be very difficult to do so. Some can do it. And there's, sometimes they have the price raises, sometimes they have other things that do that. The option that we've chosen is we have some vetted partners that have worked with us in the industry and very familiar with what we can do now because we've been doing that with them for a while. That nothing that gets done though is solely touched by an outsourcer. Our team of internal experts review every single thing that gets done, whether they've done it themselves or somebody else did it that's outside the organization. There's a vetted person within the organization that makes sure that it's high quality content. And we have block out specific time for them to be able to do that, or high quality, paid ads work that follows our method. That's what we do. That's done that. That's the best way that we can scale while keeping our costs there. And then it's more of a math game, right? Like, how much am I sending to outsource? And at a certain point, it's going to make more sense for me to bring somebody in-house, right? So if we can play that math game correctly, we feel really confident in our ability to scale up. And we haven't seen, we were nervous to invest in any sort of outsourcing opportunities because it just has had a bad rep. I think a lot of outsource companies have grown up, especially during the pandemic, and they've gotten a lot better at what they do. And so it has lended to that trust from us. Frankly, we needed to do it in order to survive at the time. And we've kind of continued that tradition, and it's been very successful for us. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but for us, it worked really well. And it's because of some of the quality measures that we installed as a procedural process, which has been a lot of actually what my job has been, is ensuring that quality continues forward.
Excellent. Excellent answer. Again, really appreciate that info as well, Patrik. So I am hearing a lot about automation and outsourcing and even adopting some AI help as needed.
Yep.
So are these keys to success for you as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. AI, I mean, I'm on ChatGPT every day. I was on it just before we were talking, trying to figure out the solution to a problem, right?
Yeah.
Like for us, like we don't view AI as the be all end all. Like we plug in the AI and magically it solves our problems. It doesn't do that. What it does do is it acts as a tool to speed up how I'm able to knock out stuff, right? Like it's a great ideation tool. It's a really good rough draft. It's a really good checker for like what am I missing? Human beings are terrible at trying to find what's missing. Robots, on the other hand, are really good at it. So we can use that. And that actually helps increase our quality and our what we can do. Like one of my writers can write X amount of words so fast, but with AI, she can write way more and have more to say, and we can give even better product with an AI assist. And so like that's also something that can definitely help us out. And so that's something that we're doing. We're also upgrading our project management system to include more automation. So we're spending less time managing tasks and more time doing them.
Awesome. Yep, I am definitely hearing that as a trend and a way to continue to grow, get better, improve, and keep going. So we're in a very transformational time. Is there any advice, any other advice that you would offer other agencies out there as to how to survive and thrive?
You need to be educating yourself constantly, right? You need to carve out time, whether it's 15 minutes a day, an hour a week, an hour a day. I don't really care. You need to be dedicating time to educating yourself on what the updates are, spending time experimenting with some stuff and applying that as quickly as you can. Technology is advancing way faster than the average human can keep up with. But if you take the time to educate yourself, then you can know what buttons to push and when to push them. And so I think having an education mentality is going to be extremely vital to you. Even if you don't necessarily apply every single thing you read, you need to be taking the time to educate yourself so you're aware of what's happening. Because if you don't know about it and your client comes to you and says, "Hey, have you heard about XYZ thing?" you immediately lose credit. You immediately lose trust, and you have to be on top of it.
I agree. It's strong advice for any industry, let alone marketing. So
Correct. Yeah.
wrapping up and kind of shifting gears, I'm going to go back to something else that I saw on your website, kind of an old-fashioned thing that every business can grow with a solid marketing plan, right? And we believe.
Yeah.
Um, what else would you like the audience to know about Oozle Media?
Um, I think I've been at Oozle Media for 9 years.
Congrats.
Okay. And that's a long time in the agency industry. And the reason why I've stuck around is because our people are awesome, right? Like we really care. And I know that that's such a trope. I know that people say that all the time. Our average client retention is well over 2 years. Our average employee retention is also over 2 years. And the reason for that is because we do crap the right way. Like we don't mess around with something that's just not going to be not the right way. Our mantras do what's in the best interest of the client, and sometimes that's even at the detriment of ourselves. Because honestly, like if it costs us a few bucks to fix something for you, and to like we make mistakes. Every single agency does. Every person does. We're prone to it. But we will gladly pay for our mistakes and like get that thing fixed to be how it needs to be, and then earn your trust more that way and retain your business that way because you trust us. We you I've you that I think it takes a lot, right? We make mistakes. We do it all the time. But when we make mistakes, we make them right.
Fantastic. So everyone out there, I was talking with Patrik Cannole at Oozle Media today. Patrik, thanks so much for your time. Sincerely appreciate your openness and your expertise in our field.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure. I enjoy conversations. And, if anybody ever wants to reach out to me on like LinkedIn or anything like that, again, I really like being able to talk through this stuff. I live and eat and breathe agency life. It's who I've been.
Terrific. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks, Paul.